Please.
DJ Kennedy.
DJ Kennedy.
Where did you get this man from?
DJ Kennedy.
Today. Me, I'm not talking to him. I've told him already. He's trying to play smart.
We get beef plus some. We get beef plus some. He knows.
He's trying to play smart.
The salad thing.
I know how to.
We know they forget to.
I know how to make amends. Once the vanilla cake makes its way to Akeken's house. Once the vanilla cake makes its way to Akeken's house.
Yeah.
Matter finish. But Akeken,
how has your week been?
It's been a lovely week. You know, everybody looking forward to the VGMAs, and as usual, the controversies and the side issues that come with it. Picked up conversations here and there. All of you guys on social media, you know, trying to choose your own paths. Some being very biased, but not wanting to come out cleanly to show their biases.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed all that. You know, it's such a thrill. You know, at least everybody's looking forward to the outcome of tonight's event.
Yes.
And
we'll be doing our predictions though.
I know. I know we will.
Oh,
yes. You know, everybody has his or her own. But again, as we said last week, or was it last week or the week before, we commended Charterhouse.
Yes.
You know, for being able to sustain this event this long.
Not easy. Not easy. Such a brand.
It's not easy, you know, for 20 odd years.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
23 years, 24 years now, right? From 98 till now, that's like 23 years.
There are issues.
Yeah, and but we will come to that.
That makes it even more interesting.
Yes.
Has there been any year that it's never?
No, it's been throughout.
Yeah,
consistently.
Yes. Particularly once it's awards.
So I've been looking forward to the event like everybody else, you know, because it's high up there on Ghana's calendar.
Exactly.
Of events, you know, you can't play down the VGMAs.
Baba Sadiq, your week, how has it been?
Well, it's been quite hectic. Running around. And now every day when you come here, there's one thing that would always cut across what I say to people. Either I say I'm in the constituency, I'm talking to delegates. It's always constituency and delegates. Constituency.
But
it was a hectic one.
Kwame, he doesn't even pick calls.
He
doesn't even pick calls. Ask him the last time he spoke to me. Ask him.
I missed this time. This year I missed Akeken's.
He's on his way to becoming honorable.
I was absent.
So
I missed it. I was absent.
You did not miss it.
I was absent.
It hasn't happened.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
But even the party hasn't happened.
No, I mean the birthday itself. Do you think it has?
Oh, I think it has.
When was that?
Oh, I know. But the same. Akeken celebrates his birthday on the same day as the chief imam.
Oh, okay.
So he knows.
That's what he knows.
He knows.
I missed
and he didn't even bother to call me.
Oh, Akeken.
He deserves some lashes.
That day.
Baba Sadiq.
That day.
Me, I've forsaken him.
So when you're dealing with the complex people called delegates, you go forget you yourself will forget your birthday.
All right, guys, join 99.7 FM. And let me tell you that Baba Sadiq is our special guest for today. He's a media and music executive, and he's been in this industry for close to how many? 20 years? Yes.
2004 to now is how many years?
That's like, is it 18?
It was 18 or 19 years.
19 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
Started out in 2004.
So we have a convo with you. But before that, I don't know why you like this song though. I don't know. But before that, Baba Sadiq says that he wants to listen to this song again.
been interesting, and it's been major learnings and lots of feedback. And of course, I mean, it's been very, very, very eye-opening.
Yeah.
As much as possible. Grassroots politics is totally different. I mean, a lot of the politicians will tell you. They tell you that, listen, at the grassroots level, it's totally different altogether. Sometimes in the national politics, sometimes it's, I mean, quite, not to say easy, but I mean, if you're good, you could barely, I mean, manage it. But grassroots politics is totally different. You're dealing with different demographics, different segments of the same delegates or same party members. And you've got to adjust. You've got to find a way to connect and resonate with everybody. Try to put yourself at the heart of people's, I mean, issues and try to understand them. Try to, and so it's not easy. Sometimes even your strengths could actually be your weakness.
Wow.
When you're dealing, I mean, what could be your strength nationally could sometimes be your weakness when you're dealing with what's it called, grassroots. Sometimes, Charlie, you just need grace to just go through it. It's not easy.
But are you ready for next week?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been on it for some time. I can know. It's just that
I don't know.
He's angry that in the last few weeks I've not given him proper updates. No, but I've been on the ground for some time. I mean, of course, I was born in Fadama. I was raised in Fadama. Attended school in Abeka, and so I've been engaging and doing things and trying to woo the delegates for some time. And so at this point, I think that I'm very confident about next week. But of course, one can't be complacent. And a week is actually a long time. So I mean, these past few days, two things. Obviously, I shouldn't be complacent.
Yeah.
And most importantly, by next week, I shouldn't run out of war.
What feedback are you picking on the grounds?
The feedback is very good. I think that the message that I sent to the delegates seemed to be something that worked, and particularly when you see opponents trying to hit at some of the specific things you say, it should tell you it's working. It should tell you it's actually getting to the ground. Okay, and I mean, I think my qualities as somebody who is competent, somebody that has shown and proved to be competent, somebody who resonates with the 4 voting blocks of the constituency, somebody who was born and raised there, somebody who understands the situation in the constituency, somebody who has been doing, then somebody whose biggest social impact project has always been related to the constituency. It's kind of worked out. Somebody whose accessibility to strategically place individuals of the party would inure to the benefit of party members and the constituency. All these things are narratives or attributes that seems to have been accepted well by the delegates. And so when you see opponents start to attack those, it should tell you it's really gone down.
Let me say that Baba Sadiq is contesting the NDC parliamentary primaries for the Okankwe Central constituency, right?
Yes.
And so that is the position he's contesting. And just next week, 13th May, they are going to the polls. Now, you have achieved so much for yourself in the world of the creative industry or the art industry. Why do you want to get into politics? Must you get in there to do anything special for this country?
Not necessarily. Well, yes and no. But of course, I mean, my entry into politics was a work in progress. I mean, it started off gradually.
When was that?
It started almost about 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Of course, when I was in school, university, I've always been active in politics, and I've always associated with the NDC. But with where I'm headed now, the process started about 10 years ago. Where as an industry person, as a talent manager, somebody that produced content and was working in the media, the youth of my ward, where I come from, Bemo, in this case Fadama, within the constituency, had requested me to organize an event for them because every Salah they didn't want to be going out of the community.
Okay.
So it started off by me organizing the first one, then eventually from that I got into organizing other social events, health events, cleanup activities, and all. So that sort of positioned me as a young opinion leader of sorts, And so on the following that, at that particular point, the youth will consistently come to me for one help or the other, one activity after the other, and then So particularly after 2020, when I became the spokesperson for the party, during the campaign in relative to tourism, arts and culture, and having seen my closeness to what I call the strategically placed individuals of the party, and particularly after my debate with Mark, then the call became stronger. Prior to that, I think ahead of the 2020 election, 2019, there were some few others I felt like, no, I mean, we see you were born here, you were raised here, we see all the things that you're doing. Then, I swerved it a bit. But after 2020, the call became even stronger. I consulted widely with almost all the elders in the constituency. And then, I made up my mind and decided to go, So it was work in progress, and then there was a call that continued to grow stronger. And so I had to put everything on the side to jump into it to make it happen.
Do you see yourself becoming a Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture someday?
Well, that would be something that my leader and our presidential candidate would decide, and the key stakeholders would decide. I mean, eventually when we get to come into power. But of course, if maybe you want me to become, maybe you should vote for the NDC to come to power.
But so if the NDC comes to power and you are approached to hold this position, would you do that?
Of course, I would. I mean, any role a future NDC government appoints me to, that would inure to the benefit of the country and the states, it will be welcoming. But of course, if it's the tourism, art and culture industries, why not? But it could be any other industry as well. Whatever it is, I think that I'm psyched up and prepared myself and have been ready for this period. And so, yeah.
There is this notion that when people in the creative art industry get into politics, they neglect the art industry. Should we be happy that you are getting into politics, or should we be worried?
Well, I mean, that notion is not entirely true. I don't know. People should probably provide specifics. When Honorable Jifa Gomashi went into politics, I don't think anybody would say she disappointed the constituency she came from. There's been a number of things that had happened when she entered when she became a deputy minister of the sector. And so it's not entirely true. But of course, I also understand some of the challenges they've had with certain people from industry that have had the chance. Certain things that the expectations of industry wasn't really met. But in my case, the point I've always made to industry is that, of course, unless you get the opportunity to having to serve in a policy position that will relate to enabling industry. But you will understand that if I succeed as a member of parliament, my primary objective will be, or my primary goal will be my constituents.
Yes.
How beyond making laws, I know how the academics will say some of the things that we talk about. They say, no, it's not the role of the MP to do some of these things that we talk about. But realistically, all of us practicing politics today have come to understand that the role of the lawmaker or the member of parliament today has morphed into all sorts. It's gone beyond making laws, and it's gone beyond providing oversight over the executive, but most importantly, it's gone into all these other things that relates to providing relief to your people, whether through infrastructure, whether through jobs, whether through health, anything, And so the primary objective will be this. But if there's an added opportunity to serve in another role, then of course that would be most important. So some got opportunity to serve in the roles that relates to industry, some didn't, and so it's hard to really. Some actually did that even within parliament. Some got the opportunity to serve on committees. I doubt that the one of the laws that has been passed in industry for industry, the creative arts bill. Yeah, I mean that had the involvement of people like Jifa Gomashi in parliament. They took an active role in it. In fact, this actually started with her and then Honorable Elizabeth Ofosojari. So it's not entirely true, the notion. But again, I understand it depends on the expectation of industry. I'm sure there's a whole lot industry is expecting, and when it's slow to come, it could fuel this kind of perception.
All right, still here with Baba Sadiq Abdullahi Abu, and he is NDC parliamentary aspirant for Okankwe Central Constituency. A creative person, getting into politics, and we're having discussion with him, or a convo with him, right here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. You can send in your messages ahead of time. We'll be asking him some questions. So just if you have any question for Baba, send your question right now to 055 1111997 055 1111997. Baba, let me ask this question. Throughout the whole campaign period, people say that it's very expensive to fund these activities. How much have you spent so far?
We are not even done with the process, Kwame. We're still spending.
So far,
Charlie, it's a lot.
Like how much? Estimate.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot. I mean, you're still spending, and it isn't going to end soon. I mean, of course, even beyond. I mean, if I'm successful with the primaries, when I'm successful with the primaries, then you go into a whole different period or to phase of the campaign altogether, where you would have to actually even spend more. But a whole lot have been spent. There's a number of activities, a number of things that you've done, and for me, there's an all year round activity that I keep. Every month there's something, beyond the usual social events that you've got to be actively involved, whether financially or physically. Then there's your own personal activities, personal campaign activities. Either you're meeting party delegates, you're meeting constituents, or you're organizing a particular activity in the constituency. All of that require funds. Having to actually even run the campaign, from outdoor campaigns to all the engagements. It's expensive, but I mean,
a lot of money, eh?
It's a lot of money, Harry. It's a lot of money.
Now, what's your assessment of the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture?
Hey, this matter. And can we say, Kwame, why you go ask this guy this matter? Well, I mean, I think that it's not been the best. It's not been the best. Ahead of the 2020 election and between 2017 to 20, I was very vocal about some of the things that they ought to have been done that has not been done. But even this particular one has been disappointing. Has been disappointing. My main guy is there, Mark. Awal is also, somebody I respect. And I remember when we all sat here, there was that high expectations that we all had. But I remember one person that has always told us to that, guys, manage your expectations. This man again. And I also joined him. For me, the one reason why I joined that particular suggestion from him was the fact that I didn't see that overarching commitment from the state, from this particular government.
Okay,
it didn't show from the presidency down that there was an intentional attempt or objective to enabling the sector.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was just like, Charlie, it's just one of those things. I mean, they'll find there's a number of the things, a number of initiatives that have not been done, promises to the sector that have not been fulfilled, and nobody was speaking to it. Nobody showed any seriousness to it. Nobody even thought. I mean, we're a group that they should regard. Yeah. It didn't look as if there was a clear attempt at ensuring that one of the sectors that continues to employ a lot of young people and women, one of the sectors that the president here said has become the third biggest contributor to our GDP behind our hydrocarbon and agricultural resources. It didn't seem as though there was that clear attempt from the top to down to saying, look, we want to leave a legacy. And one of the legacies we want to leave is to ensure that we've enabled a sector that will continue to deliver so much more to the state. That attempt wasn't there. You didn't feel it. You didn't. And so when even Mark went there and Awal was there, was saying, oh, these are two good people. If you look at Awal's achievement from graphic and what he's done for himself, if you look at Mark and the respect and everything, and one of the things that has probably restrained a lot of people from taking the government on, it's maybe perhaps because of Mark and the relationships we have with the people.
Okay.
Because if I remember how vociferous the industry was during Katrina Afekustan. It was almost one would actually, if you analyze it, one would not hold back from saying that we probably were unfair to Katrina Afeku.
You think we've been lenient on them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and if you look at some of the things that Katrina Afeku did, and to think about how we were very, very vociferous, how we were almost every week on her case, and to think that in the last 4 years.
But don't we see that as well with this
what exactly, Kwame? What exactly?
The same radio discussions and people not happy about how
this Kwame. This is less. You should. Why are the same actors? When I say actors, not from screen actors, but I mean the same stakeholders that were very, very loud. Almost everybody is almost quiet because our guy is there, Mark. But then again, it's been very disappointing because look, for Katrina Afeku, even if you're not going to give her anything, her role, the active role she played in the evolution and development of the year of return, it was her baby. She carried it. That 2017 December.
Okay.
Because I mean everybody knows how it evolved. Of course, December in Ghana has been a work in progress for more than 20 years. I mean, every December it's been growing. But in that 2017, there were key things that 2017, 2018, that December, there were key things that prepared us for 2019. Her engagement with Boris Kujo and was a lady from Apple and Uber. Bozoma and her group, Boris Kujo and the wife, and that group that came in, and that particular event and the spotlight that they brought into the country. She was very active in engaging them with all their events and everything. I mean, at the point in time, industry thought that this is why is she all over them and rapping them. But these were the key building blocks that made the December in 2019 super successful. Because she started it in December, she was building it and trying to, engage with them and all of that. We all experienced it. By December 2018, when they had organized the initial or the foundational event for Full Circle Festival at Labadi Beach, where Polo Beach Club is today, and had already announced that by 2019 there was going to be a major Full Circle Festival in Ghana, and they had brought in all the essence and all of that gave Ghana that huge PR. Nobody can discount the active engagement or role or putting herself in it that actually provided. And today nobody actually even talks about the role. Nobody gives her that particular credit, because by 2019 she was off. Realize, Kwame?
Yeah,
she was off by 2019, and so whoever inherited it, whoever took it up, of course, you can also discount the role Akwesi Agyeman, for instance, had played in ensuring that some of these things took off. But these were the key building blocks that came to add to that, to what has been work in progress for about 20 years. So by 2019, then the call became greater. By 2019, we were heavily publicized and everything. But in the last 4 years, where is that key activity? Where is that vein? Where is that gut? Where is that key movement?
How would you score Dr. Awal and Mark Okekumant?
You truly want me to do this?
Oh, yes.
It's been very poor, very disappointing.
On a scale of 0 to 10.
What are the key things? Forget about even the key expectations of industry as it was expressed in the manifesto of the current government. What are the key things off your head as an industry person you would connect this particular?
What would you have done differently if you were, say, the minister or deputy minister, or you were in the ministry?
Of course, our promises would have been delivered on.
Are you sure about that?
Because in 2020, some of the things that we did promise, these are low-hanging fruit. These are things that was needed for industry, and these are things that could have been done. These are low-hanging fruit. There's a number of things, and some of them were actually things that we knew was actually in progress and that could have been done. For instance, one of the promises we made, having come to the realization that thought leadership of industry was less, we made a point that education or amplifying the thought leadership of industry was very important. And so if you realize, under our Big Push project, one of the key projects that was under the big project was the project of the idea to not necessarily merge the universities or the tertiary institutions that related directly to industry, but it was put under Big Push as well, so that it will come with the infrastructural, much needed infrastructure project that was needed for industry. Something that equated to the University of Renewable Resources in Somenya, for instance. That was the idea, that was the plan. So that beyond it being a venue where you could educate the young ones that were coming up, a part of it could be designed and created in a way that could also be almost like a mini film village of sorts, with a ready-made crew on standby. So there were a number of things that
you gave a lot of promises in your 2020 manifesto.
There was a lot of it,
a litany of them.
Well, I mean,
you think if you were given the power, you would have been able to deliver on all of them? Because
of course, because in our case, there was that commitment from our leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He was actively involved in what became the promises. There were discussions, there were meetings that he took an active interest in. In fact, currently, there are a number of committees that have been formed ahead of our 2024 manifesto, right, to look at it and all of that. Some of the deliberations relative to the Tourism, Art and Culture Committee, which, I mean, we know you will come. We call it the CAT Committee. That's a culture, because culture leads it. Culture, art, and tourism sector. Some of the activities and some of the conversations, deliberations, he's actively involved in them. He and then our 2020 vice presidential candidate, Professor Nanajin, they're actively involved either physically or via Zoom. Because it's one of the key industries they would want to leave a legacy of. It's one of the key industries they recognize continues to provide employment to a lot of people, and an industry that could still provide a lot of employment and value to the state. Currently, as we said now, one of the exportable industries or sectors that should by now be receiving the support exportable products do receive is the tourism, the culture industry. We know what the culture industry has done to the image of Nigeria. We know the numbers it continues to deliver for them. We know the forex continues to deliver for. In Ghana, every last quarter, every December, the forex, that's in the amount of value that the creative industry delivers to the country is unmeasurable. Every December, different sectors are impacted. And so that's why sometimes when people look into that, I was somewhere and somebody said, "Oh, beyond entertainment, whatever." I was like, "What do you mean by this? Do you understand what these means?" Some of these things are not just it's an economic system. When Afro Nation happens in the country, if you have an idea, the sectors that is actually impacted positively, you will not be saying the things that you say, because we don't talk about it. We don't break it down to everybody. So everybody, look, I took a group around at Afro Nation, and I was pointing out, and I said, this is the sound team, the audio team. The team was led by Frankie. The local team was led by Frankie. There's somebody that also came as well. Frankie had not less than 40 people working with him alone on that particular gig.
Wow.
We went around showing them the security team. There was a health team led by a number of doctors that had not less, including health assistants and everything, that again had not less than 30 people working with them. They had a security team, they had a production team. It was huge. And just for this particular event, the people that will be impacted are not only the performing talents that get paid, but even the artisans that are setting up the stage that are getting paid for the number of days that are there, people for providing other supplies, from barricades to this, to that, to hotels, to transport. Do you know the number of cars that you rent for that particular period? For Wonderland, the number of cars you've got to rent from businesses and for the number of days that you've got to rent them. Do you know how much it takes to be able to do all these things? This is value, and most of these companies do pay the statutory payment to the state. They are all registered. And so these are things that continues to drive a lot of value to the country. And so for me, I was saying that if there was that sector that this particular government, having enjoyed the goodwill from and having rode on the back of and got a lot of support from, if there was one sector they needed to prioritize as well, aside all the other important sectors, it was the creative industry. Because look, Kwame, by 2020 we had come to realize that from the National Education Authority registrations alone, by October 2020, when you do a chart of the top 10 professions that people said they belong to, three of those belong to the creative industry. And at that particular point in time, even when it was nearly a million at that time. So what does that tell you? So this is a sector that if you enable and continue to and prioritize, could still employ a lot of people. And it's also one of the sectors where when you are done from school, you do not necessarily have to wait for a Joy FM to employ you. A number of people have become photographers and making a lot of money for themselves. I know of makeup artists today who makes almost about 80,000 cedis monthly. 80,000. In December, she is overbooked. It's gone. You don't get her. The social events part, every weekend, look at what's happening in the wedding space. Look at the number of people in that particular value chain. Kwame, it's a very, very powerful sector.
All right. Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. I'm in the studio with Uncle Ken, Chief Moomin. Baba Sadiq is our special guest for today, and we are trying to get into his life a bit. You see, you can send your questions ahead to us right now. 055 997 055 997. Baba Sadiq is our guest this afternoon here on Showbiz A to Z. And let's move away from the ministry and let me come to you, Baba Sadiq.
Yeah. Are you already on him?
Let me.
Hey, on him coming and big.
Wait. Chief.
Well, I mean, you already.
No.
On
him
coming ambiguous. What do you mean? What do you mean by on him?
No, I'm not. No, he said let me come to you.
It's okay.
And I'm okay. You are already with.
It's okay. It's okay.
You let some judges people come for you.
Baba, what are some of the achievements that you've actually made for yourself, in this industry? What are some of these achievements? If somebody just listened to you, on the radio, you say, who is this guy? What has he done for the industry?
Well, I mean, a whole lot. Established business that continue to enable industry and also play its part in the value chain to grow industry. From my work with multimedia, to my work with Metro TV, to my work as programs and productions person at Varsad One, and all the content that we churned out, which continue to which drove a lot of value for stakeholders or investors, and then also entertainment value for consumers, and also provided a platform for advertisers and helped to grow markets. To my work with Muse participates to 3 Media Networks, which I founded in 2017, which has been one of the things that has been very much talked about to and particularly in relation to how we started it from a very small initiative, was a content that was just sitting on 3 Music at the time, has grown to now become a 24-hour service channel that continues to provide a platform for advertising and spotlighting industry, to 3 Music Awards and the innovation that we continue to, because 3 Music Awards was all sorts, what we sought to do with 3 Music Awards in fact was not just to create entertainment value for people, but also to use that as a platform to course correct in the industry, because I got to that point where as an industry person I was tired with just talking and commenting on things, but I also wanted to actively use the platforms and the things that I have created to achieve the things that I wanted to see. So 3 Music, plus all these things that I've done in the past, I would say are things that you can safely say are Baba Sadiq's achievement. And then of course, sometimes when I talk about these things, it's a lot. So I do not even talk about what Wilderland sought to do, and how it's grown from not being a festival to now becoming a whole campaign related to sustainability and climate change. So there's a whole lot related to Baba Sadiq.
Let me bring in Chief Moomin. I'm on you, Chief Moomin. You've listened to Baba Sadiq speak to all the things he's been doing for the campaign, and his assessment of the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, and all that. What do you make of it?
Well, we all know Baba Sadiq in the industry, and obviously when he declared his intention to run, we all gave him our support in terms of our moral encouragement. First of all, it's always good to have someone from the industry who makes an attempt to enter into the space that impacts and policy for to see how that policy can then also impact the reality on the ground. So first of all, we're happy that he's going. However, it's not turning into a lion. That is the problem. It is having the tail of a lion, if I can remember that quote, very well from one of the literature books. So, I mean, it's not the contest, that for me is important. Especially if he wins the contest, which we are praying he wins. It is what happens, after he wins and he finds himself in position of influence. Governance is a multi-headed beast. You are confronted with many issues and challenges, decisions to make all the time, especially in our part of the world where there's never enough money to go around anyway. So what to prioritize is always, an issue. And those of us in the creative space, we've been making the argument for a very long time that in an economy that has been particularly one way, we've depended on the extractive industry since independence: gold, cocoa, timber, oil and bauxite. This is all that we have been selling to the world. This is most of what has been bringing in the financing that we need to, finance our development, in addition to, of course, taxes that we get from local businesses. I mean, we have always been of the opinion that one of the exports that could bring in considerable investment back into the country is our cultural industry, our art, our culture, our tourism industry. And we've always felt that, the kind of attention that government needs to put in that industry has been lacking. I mean, Baba mentioned, the work that the ministry and GTA did with, your year of return. But to interest you to know that, I mean, Ghana is not really even among the first 10 most visited countries in Africa. I think if I use 2019 data, right? Yeah. Countries like Egypt and Morocco, I mean, Egypt can attract about 8 to 10 million visitors a year. Morocco, like 6 to 8 million visitors. Ghana is still around 1 million visitors. I mean, at the last GTA report for the last tourism year, it was 900 and something thousand, visitations. So it should tell you that we're not even. I mean, and that number is consistent if you look at data over the years. So there hasn't really been any dramatic, shifts in Ghana's tourism potential, even though in the past couple of years there's been a lot of awareness about brand Ghana. Obviously, you also understand that in marketing, you expect that it takes a number of years for your campaigns to yield some results. But you have to begin to see some promising factors. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that there's still a green field for policy to respond to the effort to make Ghana a tourism hub, to make our culture one of the biggest earners for our economy. So even with this government, and we can't take away whatever work this government has done in terms of enabling, that year of return and its consequent, excitement. I remember that it was in John Mohammed's time that really this advocacy about the creative art industry really began, and then there was this 2 million Ghana cedis. Now when you think about it, $200,000, it is, but I mean, I remember when that thing came
used up, for impact assessment research.
Yes, research, right? But it was major news. It was major news because hitherto we didn't even have anything like that. So for a government to put 2 million Ghana cedis,
got any prioritization like that.
$200,000, just a little bit above the cost of a V8 was news. It's to tell you where we're coming from. But since then, we in the industry have sustained the conversation. This particular program, this is one of our favorite topics. And the next government came, and the sustaining the conversation was on, the pressure was on, and we saw some responses. Now, it is very familiar for when the president is reading his State of the Nation address to talk about the creative industry, when the finance minister is reading the budget to capture something about the creative industry, right? So the awareness is being created. Now, what we need is to go beyond, the little handouts, initiatives, the statesmen here, to big, bold visions and initiatives. And I say that what we need in this country is a new deal for our art, culture, and tourism. What is that new deal? I want a government that comes into power, and everything I'm saying goes to Baba Sadiq, because now he's walking closer.
You are on him.
Proximity to the corridors of power. And if we go by the EIE report or whatever,
I'm glad he's wishing as well, and praying and hoping that we are coming to power.
Whoever sits here, we are going to push this agenda to them, that we need a new deal for Ghana's art, culture, and tourism. And that new deal should be a bold, ambitious vision. A vision to say we want to take Ghana's tourism from 900,000 visitations annually to 5 million. Yes, that is bold. But when you have such an impossible target, you know that there is work to do. That's one new deal. My second item on that new deal is to be able to turn the economy in such a way that we can say that the arts, culture, and tourism industry is the biggest earner for the economy. Not our natural resources that we continue expanding. Now, if you have a government, you know that potentially you have ADS in power, and you begin to put in that we are driven by such an obsession, and then that obsession translates from the top to everybody. Because remember that even in the efforts to bring about development of tourism, it affects all other industries. Your infrastructure is affected because you need to build roads to the tourism site. You know, your health is affected because you need to have good health facilities. So when tourists comes, you know, your security is affected. You know, almost everything in the country can be affected when at least you have a vision. And sometimes it's just, you know, for those of us in the art, it's a way of pushing things to happen. It's like when there's a major activity like Independence Day, right? There's a fever in the country and you try to put things in order. When you have a big visitor visiting and head of state, you know, it's like a point of convergence to make things happen. Oh, let's clean the streets, let's do this. So let's use this also as a point of convergence, that we want to make our economy, you know, tourism, arts reliant. We want to move our visitors from 1 to 5 million, so that every minister of state, you know, every government agency CEO is thinking along those lines, and is thinking, how does my ministry enable it? Even when you're in the health ministry, you are thinking, how does my ministry enable this grand vision that government has set for myself? Right now, I always compare governments in two ways. Comparing two different governments like NDC and MPP is like comparing, let's say, you know, an Accord to a Camry. They are all within the same class. You know, one may be slightly ahead of the other, or one may be slightly behind the era. But really, if you look at the governments that we've had, let's even take a look at, you know, this Fourth Republic. We can't say that one government is moving with the speed of a Ferrari and another is moving with the speed of, let's say, a Kia Matas, right? You know, it's always, maybe this one is a bit more here.
It's a small gap.
Yeah, the difference.
You mean relative to the culture and arts industries?
I mean, relative to across. Relative. I mean, you may say this government may be a bit more corrupt or less corrupt. You know, so that's the tag of what we always face. Who is doing a bit more? We can't confidently say that this government is miles ahead of the other government. You know, there may be some cases, indices, maybe the debt situation we are facing now, right? But my point is that the potential for a government to be truly transformative and impactful to the economy, to the social cultural setup, is the potential is there.
Great.
But that will only happen if that government is daring enough to think beyond the things that we are used to. I think that our cabinet must think as if we don't have natural resources. That's how our political leaders must begin to think, because these resources are not infinite. One day we'll run out of oil. One day we'll run out of gold if we don't destroy all our environment. One day we'll cut all our trees down and die, maybe. I mean, so my point is that if we are not, we have to begin thinking like we don't have resources, natural resources. Once we have that fierce agency that we want to create new values, that is when we can really push the economy ahead. And that's where the likes of Baba Sadiq comes in. So that once we have more people who understand this reality and are close to the powers that be, we expect that they'll be pushing. Obviously, Baba Sadiq alone will not be able to achieve that transformation. You know? So if we have more people who are aligned to those thought process and who can convince the big man at the top, then that's where you begin to see, you know, transformation. When Baba Sadiq comes, I even will not expect dramatic change immediately, because I know it's politics. I mean, and a lot of you guys would say, but I mean, young guy.
Fortunately for us, the big man at the top in this case is
but he needs a bit
more. We hear you. We've heard it, sir. We hear you.
I know. I want you to learn.
But a lot of the bold
please learn. My 2 points that I am charging, and which this is my personal campaign going into election 2024 for all the candidates. That number one, let's increase Ghana's tourism from 900,000 to 5 million visitations within 8-year period, potential 8-year period.
Great.
And number two, let's transform the culture tourism industry. I don't know whether tourism is number 4 to the number 1 end of the economy.
It's number 3.
Number 3, right? Yes, number 3. Then we know that, Charlie, something really transformative has happened that would linger on for generations, and your name will be put in songs for generations.
Thank you, Chief Mumin. Let me read a few messages before I come to Uncle Ken. This one from Nana Kwesi, and he says that Baba Sadiq, I really like him as an individual and businessman, but Sadiq, the politician, I don't know. I guess time is the best judge to tell how I'm going to see him. Nana Kwesi says that. Let me take this one, and it says, good day, Kwame. I am Ayigbeni Dugbeda from Nungwa. I've always admired Baba Sadiq from his days as a regular showbiz pundit to hosting the awards and now taking up ministerial posts.
I beg, not yet.
He wants to go to parliament first.
This is parliamentary. No
Don't let
pressure.
them target him unduly.
I beg you. This is parliamentary.
One has to be very ambitious and be bold to come this far. One of his strengths is good communication, and as a matter of fact, he has in-depth knowledge of what he says. It is instructive to note, that's your word, that Sadiq is blessed
I hope he
and
uses
he
instructive
was
to note.
so high. Okay, another one from Churchill says, you are just talking because you are of the view that you can do it, but when you are given the chance, I can tell you the situation is different. Churchill says that. Okay, Joy 99.7 FM, we're here with Baba Sadiq Abdullahi. Okay. Ken, Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
How did I say Ken? Just like
good.
that.
I'm glad.
Just say DJ.
I'm glad you just said
No,
Ken.
I said treasonable offense. Ken.
Sawara.
But don't worry,
My
I know he
name
likes
is
it.
Ken.
Hi, Grandpa
likes it when
Ken.
he says-
Let's hear you.
That's how his female admirer is calling. Ken.
Uncle Ken, let's go.
Hello,
What's the
Ken.
matter with him?
Baba.
Hello, Ken.
Baba, you sued me on honor.
Kwame.
Oh, Uncle Ken.
So please respect yourself.
regardless of you being honorable, not talk Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken will see himself in the parliament and say, "Hey,
Kwame.
go with you."
Go with you.
Kwame.
Yes, Uncle Ken.
You know what has actually tickled me this afternoon? I just received a message from a regular listener of this show.
Okay.
While Baba Sadiq was talking, he said, "Oh, Uncle Ken, you should not say anything about Baba Sadiq because we already know what you are going to say about him." And I was like, what this guy, what's he on about?
But you should allow you to speak first.
and to be truthful, Baba Sadiq is somebody that I met on this show.
Right.
Likewise, Chief George, Nyai Tego, all the folks. Oh, the late
And the Rasta man, Kwame Rasta.
Kwame Rasta, the late Nana
Texan.
Nana
Texan.
Texan. Nana Texan.
Francis Doku.
Yeah.
These guys that I met on this show, I have so much time and admiration for, because these guys are all guys with brains.
Sure.
And they just do not talk. This is the main reason why I admire these guys. They just do not talk. They act what they say. Look at what Chief has been doing in the theater world. Mansa Musa. I saw Chief on Good Evening Ghana. Chief.
Manson World.
Yes.
Manson World.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
On Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I saw the prompt,
Okay.
and I said, "Oh, I have to watch my boy."
Okay.
So I took time out. I haven't told him. I took time out to watch Chief.
He
on
went to
Good-
Yob.
yeah, to watch
Was
Chief.
he talking about Mansa World?
Yeah,
Manson World. Manson
Yes,
World.
to watch Chief on Good Evening Ghana,
Nice.
and he did not disappoint me, as usual. Francis Doku, look where he is. Baba Sadiq, that we have in the studio today, is somebody I admire so much. When you first hear Baba Sadiq and you don't know him, what comes to mind is here's somebody that yaps plenty. You, Baba Sadiq will talk, and sometimes you say, but this guy, why? But then he will put together what he's talked about to amaze you. I remember when Baba Sadiq floated the idea of Wonderland to me one day after this show.
After this show.
Yes. And Baba came to me and says, Uncle Ken, look, this is what I'm planning. What do you think? And I said, Baba, this is huge. That's the comment I made. I said, Baba, this is huge. And good luck to you if you can pull it off. I mean, prior to that, he had pulled off the first few editions of 3 Music, and that kind of thing. So I said, Baba. But what he was able to do with the first edition of Wilderland amazed me. because I was not even expecting that level of success due to how intense that project is. So, as for Baba, he also told me about his intentions to enter into politics. And the strange thing is, Baba...
Back then when you could reach him.
Oh yes, Chief. Thank you for reminding me. Chief, thank you for reminding me. That's when he needed, and you know what Baba said. He said, "Uncle, I need your blessings to get into this." And back then, Baba was always with me on the phone, and I would give him my blessings. I said, "You know how I love you."
That was the day. That was the period you used to ring me in.
Yes.
Okay.
If you see Uncle
you are cutting him
at the time. If you see Uncle Ken's call in a particular weekday, I have to go back to check my feed on Facebook or Twitter. Have I written something? Have I commented somewhere? Because once you see the call at a certain point in time, you're like, this man,
something has happened.
Something has happened because he was calling you to ring me.
Every single weekend, Uncle Ken asks of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear of all of
that.
So
he's committed to your journey.
I love Baba Sadiq.
Yes.
You know, and everybody knows that. So I wasn't surprised my friend sent that message that I shouldn't bother to talk. You know, they know I love Baba Sadiq and I love him because here is these young guys, they just do not talk, and that's what I like. Yeah. They act and do what they mean to do.
Exactly.
And I will always push them up wherever they want to get to. So Baba Sadiq's mission in winning his
parliamentary,
and I would like us all to just leave it at that. Baba Sadiq, this is his first attempt at winning his party's primaries. Let's not extend it to when he becomes a minister.
Focus on
what will
we're
he
just
do?
testing his ambitions.
No.
We want to see how ambitious he is.
Exactly. I'm not looking at that length of space at the moment. I'm just praying he wins it and picks it up from there. Kwame, this guy is somebody that I don't know where he came from. In this
he
age.
came from Fadama.
But I love him so much because he has so much potential to do what he says. But he said to you this, he said on this show today that when Mark was appointed Deputy Minister
of Tourism and Culture,
the comment I made on this show was that please let's manage our expectations. And I expect him to know better than sit here and start talking about, my presumptive boss knows this and that and that and that. I said, hey, calm down. Wait till you get there and see how things go. So I wish him all the best.
But in the case of my presenting leader, he has been there and shown the way before. He has been there relative to our sector. He's shown the way. And, there's a number of things to talk about in that regard. But yes.
All right.
But Kwame.
Yes, Uncle Ken.
Yes, before I forget. I said I had been trying to reach Baba Sadiq. Since February. And we are in May.
Yes.
Are we not? I was trying to reach Baba Sadiq because I was getting pestered by a lot of people who know the relationship between me and Baba. And why they were pestering me was because at a certain period, it came to light that the 3 Music Awards was not happening.
That was my next question. So let's just go there straight forward.
Thank you.
Baba Sadiq, are you going to hold? Sure are we going to see 3 Music Awards?
You say Baba Sadiq was avoiding me because of this.
Yes. Are we going to see 3 Music Awards?
I also had that questions a lot.
Being held this year.
And I think the last time I was here, I said that it would be unfair to preempt the answer.
We are in May.
Unfair relative to the team and our new CEO who's running the business. Rashida is fully on top of it and in charge of the project. And I know a few of the things that they are planning and some of the things they are doing. And so I would want that for them to take it up from there, so that it doesn't,
So speaking to them, does it appear we're going to have 3 Music Awards this year?
Kwame, please let's wait for Rash and the team. I mean, there'll be a complication. What I can say is that obviously between now and between now and the next few weeks, there'll be a communication in that regard. I know the team have been working hard, around the clock to ensure that it happens. But let's all, fingers crossed. Let's all wait for the.
So that was the question people were asking when I
know. It's a lot of people. I saw a very funny tweet. When they say take the money or they go do politics.
So you are even answering my questions for me. Is it true that you've used the money to do campaign? But is it true you've run out of funds?
No, Media Networks is it's an independent organization.
Have you run out of funds?
Oh no! It's not. I don't think we have to look at it from that.
Is it not a monetary issue? Is it not a financial constraint?
Kwame, there will be a communication. You're trying to preempt whatever communication will come. But what I can say is that in due time.
When did you say the communication will come again?
I said in the next few weeks. I don't want to give a timeline.
Which date?
I don't want to give a timeline to the internal activities that has been done at 3 Music currently. Like I said. There's a very capable team in charge of that. A lot of the guys that work with me are still there. Ricky, Edward, Ezekiel, and they are led by Rush, who's very, very, super competent and professional woman. And so between now and then, given some of the activities and the things that they're doing that I'm aware of, there will be that communication in due time.
Kwame, please, are you related to the woman running 3 Because that's also been another issue.
Yeah, I know, because of
how are you related to her?
Oh, Rashida.
Yes.
Rashida is just a sister, but we're not related by blood, but also because of her husband's name. Her husband's name is Abdullah.
Yeah.
So because of the
some people even thought it was your wife.
Yeah, everybody thought so. My wife is called Adiza.
Wow.
But Rashida is a sister. Incidentally, what we're looking for a successor. The business settled on her, and so because of the Abdullah, everybody was trying to make the connections. But she's become a sister now. So we are family. But we're not biologically related, and even that Abdullah is her husband's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, Mimi Andani was here, the CEO of Golden Movie Awards, and she said that she was not going to hold the Golden Movie Awards again because she had no sponsorship. Are you facing a similar thing?
So for me, in my case, I won't speak to it relative to 3 Music Awards because, like I said, 3 Music Awards is there are a number of things that's in the offing.
But are you suggesting that you are not privy to a lot of the things that happen in the quarters of 3 Music Awards because you are a founder? Are you telling us that now your mind is only occupied?
It's sold it off.
Yes. By political stuff.
No, don't say that. I'm not sold it off. It's not. Is
that what you're suggesting?
I am. But like I said, it's just like, how do I say? So multimedia.
Yes.
As a business.
Yes.
If you meet Kusichum in the hallway, or you speak to him to speak about things that ordinarily Kenansa will speak to.
He will ask you to go.
He ask you to go and see Kenansa, regardless of wherever you see him. And beyond that, even for the shareholders or the owners of the business, proper corporate governance requires that it is not in the place of the founders or shareholders of the business to preempt or say the things. In fact, ordinarily, depending on how the business is structured, you're not supposed to be competing for attention with the new managers of the business. I can understand that as Baba Sadiq, I've professionally and personally I've grown into your set, and so I tend to take a lot of press space, and for the things that I say. But most importantly, even for the business, it's going into a whole new element where it's very, very important that we allow for some of these communications to come from Rush and the team, so that I don't take the shine. Don't forget, of course, I'm on a new path, regardless of my foundational role and being a co-owner of the business. Yes, but there's a lot of things that they are doing that it will be totally, totally unfair to having to preempt or put out or leak some of the things. But
so in the next few weeks, we'll get the communication.
Just as 3 Music, as innovative as we've always been, as edgier as we've always been, whatever will come, whatever we communicated, will be something that would still hold Ghanaians spellbound and assert the brand principles of 3 Music.
When you resigned from 3 Music as CEO, some people were like, "Oh, wejai, babejai." Oh, and you good. So people actually thought that you were so divorced from the whole institution.
Oh,
because,
no. I mean,
because you
it's
had resigned. And do you think it was right for you to have put that out there that you are no longer with Three Music Awards, or Three Music Network?
Look, particularly when you go into politics, history has shown us that it's important to make the kind of announcement that I made. It was very important. You know, if you go back during the vetting of Dr. Kwame, for instance, and even during the times that he's had to serve as finance minister, he's been time without number, continuously being hounded, speaking to how he's decoupled himself as an individual from Unibank. You know, even though his business owns or his group owns Unibank.
And
Star Assurance. And Star Assurance. But that piece of information is always very important, particularly for where we are headed. You understand? I'm the founder of the brand. I'm still a co-owner of the brand. But I was headed onto a path I was headed somewhere where it was important to protect the business. You know, because the business had grown from being a Baba Sadiq, is gone from being a sole and a proprietorship to becoming a limited liability company with other people involved, with the investment and everything. So all that investment needed to be protected, you know. And for where I was going, Uncle Kenny, you know, in this part, you know, and also for me, it was also very important that even for politics, I needed a lot of time, efforts, and attention to go into the work or the effort that's geared towards achieving the objective. You know, so yeah. So I mean I know a lot of things that's happening. But like I said to you, this is proper corporate governance. Anybody that knows, so we don't even have to even belabor the point. That's how it works. Once you are of the management role and you are more in the background, there's a reason you are there. So you don't have to be always coming from the background to try to come into the front. No.
But do you think the announcement of your resignation affected the brand in any way?
Well, so far there's no any evidence to show that it's affected the brand. As far as I know, the brand is still doing brisk business. The brand has continued. Even after me, there's been a number of rollouts. I mean, the morning show is doing great. Other content has been rolled out on the channel. There are a number of other initiatives. The brand is constantly partnering and providing commercial value to partners. A number of events and activations for clients, and they continue to, you know, go out there and do the best. You know, so I don't think that it's affected it. I think by the time that I stepped down to focus on politics and the Waterland Foundation, we had set it up properly. The structures was there, and the business was, I mean, aiming for that successful progress. You know, so I mean, it did continue from there. But I understand. When you're working in an industry where you had like you've been closely attached to it. I know how in a few times, you know, I mentioned myself and Richie worked on the Salah Carnival that we did for Fadama almost about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And during my private conversations, he was telling me some of the things that he said felt a bit odd. But I knew it was one of those things. It was because there's a way we relate. And of course, when you're having somebody, you know, you've got to build that particular relationship and it will take time. You know, so I think he had that particular expectation. And everybody wants to see it run like the way Sadiq will run it, but I'm different. I'm wired differently. The way I do things and the way my approach is differently, and I think it will be unfair to have that expectation of Rush now, because she's also wired differently, you know, and she's also coming from she's a well accomplished lady, and so she's on a path to also running it her own way. You know, but so far there hasn't been any evidence to suggest that it's been impacted, not commercially, not publicly. You know, but Three Music is Three Music. It's going on. Has
coming out publicly to show your political colors affected you as a creative in any way?
No, it's never. I think it's you know, every time I tell everybody that sometimes it's just a matter of mindset. Don't forget, even when I was still running the business in 2020, I was still heavily involved in partisan politics. I can't say politically biased, but I was heavily, involved in partisan politics.
Yes.
I was involved in the campaign. I was a spokesperson for the party in the 2020 elections for tourism, art, and culture. I had gone on about 10 regions with His Excellency John Rani Mahama. We've been, we're pushing, but I think it's the way it's done, it's the approach, it's the mindset, and the way you also pursue your business. Ken always makes the point that, look, it doesn't matter which side of the political divide you belong to, and even whether he disagrees or agrees with you, for whatever you are involved in, if you go the extra mile to ensure that it's top notch, he doesn't mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we did, because right after the elections and right after, the party was gearing towards, and I think even after the court case in 2021, and we're moving on to 2024, it was a whole new energy. And 2021 was one of the best years we had in 3 music awards as well, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then we went on to have a fantastic 2022. So it's the work, it's the objective. I've not looked at it and for me, I've always felt that aside God, I'm unstoppable, and nothing, absolutely once. And that's why I've always had that battle cry, or that central theme that I'd always influence my things, which is the no guts, no glory. Because in that particular instance, when I set my eyes on the things that I want to do, I would work hard on it, towards it. I would go the extra mile. I will not leave any stone unturned. Sometimes even in the constituency, there are people that you go to say, Charlie, you okay, go and sleep. I say, no, I'm not wired like that. Until it's done, I won't sleep. I'll go the extra mile to such an extent that, and I know if a lot of people that will compete against me on anything, eventually they'll come out to say, Charlie, this guy is crazy. Because Kwame, I will not relent. I won't sleep. Until it's achieved, I will not. I'll go the extra mile. So anybody that comes up against me and also succeed, you should know the person really did work.
What has been your lowest moments as a creative?
Lowest moment.
Last year.
Wonderland. Okay, the thing about me is that I scale over things quickly. And so sometimes I do not, because I do not over fixate on it, it fades from my memory very quickly, and that's why it's very difficult to go out to say which one has been my lowest moment. But there's been times, but I know last year, for instance, during that that almost 1 hour break because of the technical hitch or the 3 music awards was a low moment. But then that particular period, you couldn't regard it as a low moment because you needed to turn it around. Okay. You were leading. You were the leader. Everybody took your command. You had a whole team, and you couldn't have. I couldn't have broken down. So you needed to marshal everybody. You needed to move heavens and do whatever you would do to make sure that whatever we planned and whatever taken as months to put together, come off in the ways that we wanted to see it. And indeed, it did come off. All right. So there aren't a lot of times I'll consider, because where for every result for me is good. Regardless of how our probably would want to come out of something very successful. If it comes out negatively, I'm able to quickly adjust. Take the lessons, turn into something, and then move on. And that's why I do not have a lot of low moments to refer to when I'm asked.
Okay. I'm asking 2 things from you so that we close this interview.
I like you didn't allow me to talk about
which part was that?
My view on what Mimi had said.
Yes, I asked that question. Yeah,
for about 2 to 3 years here on this show as a panel, I've always made the point that the sponsorship market is gone. It's non-existent. I've always sounded the alarm. From about 3 years ago, I kept on saying, look, this is declining, this is going for varied reasons. And when there's major socioeconomic impact as well, it's further worsens it. But it's been going out gradually. So it doesn't. So corporate sponsorship as a way of raising initial capital for live entertainment experiences is gone. We're not going to get it for a long time to come. And I've always advised that we need to shift from that particular mindset to probably considering having to raise capital for some of these entertainment experiences. And that also requires that for people in the industry to begin to structure and build their business right, because that's the only way we can attract that much needed funding and take it to the next level. It's not easy, but Chief, who has been involved in fundraiser for his event, for instance, will tell you it's not easy. But one of the refreshing things he will also tell you is that if you structure things right, if you're built right in the ways, because a lot of people with money who do not understand your industry will understand the numbers. And you can only begin to project right if you're built right as a business. And that's how, for me, we've been able to turn around a number of things that built ideas that came from just ideas and scaled it up from 3 Music to Wilderland to everything else. So it's quite possible. I'm sure that maybe perhaps it's not a very and the award space is tricky. It's not really a commercially viable space. There are other derivative benefits or value for the business. For 3 Music, for instance, as an entertainment brand, there was what it did to the brand, the heart of the business, and what brought the business commercial returns was the currency that you had every year from the innovation and the edgier productions that you did, the number of things that will come on the back of it, and so if you're not thinking of it like that in the more 360 things, and you want to think of it in the ways that it's existed in the industry, we'll get it wrong. Also, because the brands are also shifting and changing. And so there's a whole lot of things that's happening that's important that as industry people, we need to take cognizance of and begin to adjust and plan for the today and the tomorrow of the business.
Fantastic. Now, your final words, 1, to your constituent, your party members in your constituency, and then 2, to the industry, the creative industry.
Well, 1 to, what do I start? Which one do I start with? For industry or for my constituency?
Industry first.
Well, for industry, I think the final words was what I just spoke about, that it's important that as industry people, we understand the now and the future of industry. It's important that we're able to project right, and so and to enable us position ourselves very well for where we're headed. Looks like in the ways that things are happening, and sometimes when you hear the commentary, it's almost as if we are 15 years back, from what is happening within the world. And one of the things that my watchword consistently has been done to be able for us to be able to get to that point, there's the need for the thought leadership in industry or the knowledge of industry to go up. Some of the conversations that we're still having, some of the conversations that are amplified or led by supposedly voices or key and relevant voices of industry is problematic. And there's a need for us to have an all hands on deck from the media platforms that take the lead in educating or creating narrative or perceptions for industry, and how they go about ensuring who actually sits behind the microphone to provide a matching education or provide commentary on the issues. It's very important we understand that where the industry is headed, we as an industry also need to be ready to start to understand that when there's that enablement from all the relevant stakeholders, it will be a very good marriage that would kneel to our benefits. To my constituents, I think that by now the message and the narrative that I've been sending out to the delegates has been well received. But today, I just want to remind them that on the 13th of May, exactly a week today, when they are voting in Okakwe Central, all the delegates should remember that there is one candidate that resonates with the 4 voting blocks in the constituency. There's one candidate whose visibility, publicity, arising out of his professional reputation would attract the much needed, hardest to reach voting blocks in the constituency. There's one candidate who, just like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, also sits on number 1. And so if you're voting and you're a delegate in Okakwe Central NDC and you're voting, remember that when you're voting for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the number 1 zoo, you vote for Baba Sadiq and Dabawanza.
Baba Sadiq, wow, creative, and then the NDC parliamentary aspirant for Okankwe Central constituency. Thank you very much for your time, for coming. Yeah, when are you seeing you again here?
Oh, yeah.
When are we seeing you again here?
I'll come. I'm sure for next week when the pressure of the initial phase, or the campaign goes down, and I'll come around.
Okay, Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. We are back after this.
Kwame, I just sent it.
Celebration. GH Music's biggest night is here. Happening live Saturday 6th May at the Grand Arena. A night of glitz and glamour. Show-stopping performances plus all the drama that comes out with Who Wins What. Performing live, Sarkodie, Black Sherif, Jackie, PSA Esther, Medical, Last Minute, Episode, Oforian Ponsa, Kim Promise. Limited tickets are out for 500 Ghana cedis and 700 Ghana cedis VIP on star 713 star 33 star 24 hash. And also at Nalam Stores, Accra Mall and Charterhouse. For VVIP, call 050-1288-520. The 24th VGMAs is powered by Charterhouse and sponsored by TV3, KPMG, Yango, our media partners, and Vodafone. Our music lives.
The king is here. You keep the wheels turning. For your sake, roads spread like red carpets before us. You're the legend of whom many great stories are told. The custodian of our beloved engines, lubricants Munkoswahini, Shell Helix. 99 problems everywhere, but car performance isn't one. Because for ages, Nkoswahini, Shell Helix has been keeping our engines in good shape. Come rain, come shine, we'll keep moving forward because Nkoswahini is with us. Presenting Shell Helix. Experience power, performance, and protection with Shell Helix engine oil and keep your car going. Shell Helix, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Gripping conversations, business opportunities, and inspiring life stories in the engine room. We have it all. Tune in to Springboard, your virtual university with Reverend Albert Okran, this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch the repeat telecast on Joy Prime every Saturday at 9 a.m. Sponsors: Enterprise Group, MTN Pulse, UMB Bank, and Central University. Media partners: Joy FM, Joy Prime, and Graphic Business. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Supernatural Empowerment Summits 2023. Meet the revivalists, the heads of global denominations, and the kingmakers. This year, in Archbishop Charles Ogenasari's 40th year in a miracle ministry and the 10th Supernatural Empowerment Summit, expect life-changing insights for ministry and impartation for the next level. Host and speaker, Archbishop Charles Ogenasari. Other speakers from Ghana, Dr. Robert Ampia Kofi, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, Reverend Dr. Stephen Wengam, and also Bishop Joseph Imakando, Zambia, Bishop Joseph Matera, USA, Apostle Yves Castano, Congo, Apostle Abraham Gaji, Cote d'Ivoire. Date, Monday 22nd to Friday 26th May 2023. Time, evening session, 5:30 p.m. daily. Morning session, 8:30 a.m. daily start on Tuesday. Venue, Perez Dome, Jolu Junction, Accra, Ghana. Contact, +233-548-633-650 or www.scsummits.org.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour. Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM, 1:30 p.m. every Sunday.
Aiko to all mothers out there. Your role can never be overemphasized. Mothers are God's most special gifts to mankind. And even more special are the mothers who are raising children with special needs. This year, your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, is celebrating mothers who are raising children with special needs in our promotion dubbed Supermom. Do you know any such mom? If you do, please share their story with us. That very daunting task of raising a child with special needs. In fact, the mothers themselves can share their stories with us as well. All entries must be sent to 055 997. And with the support of our sponsors, we will celebrate 10 of these Supermoms this Mother's Day. Our Supermom promotion is brought to you by Fortune Rice, always on point, just like mom. Frital Sunflower Oil, you deserve a life of goodness. Zigzag Fashion Accessories, Accra Mall, your best choice for elegance and style. Woodin, Le Créateur. Lesh Fortune Limited, luxuriously perfect. Sonotech Ghana, your total health partner for life. And Caveman Watches, be remembered. Supermom, Aiko.
It's Showbiz A to Z.
Beat in a second, I think it's controversial. Bailey's a fuck contacting me.
Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie, and we're still on. Now, in a moment, we'll be talking about the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. It's happening this evening at the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center. Who wins Artist of the Year? In the meantime, though, Pentecost are a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost. Comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche, on Joy 99.7 FM at 1:30 p.m. every Sunday. So tune in every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. as Apostle Nyameche brings you life transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nation. Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nations for the Lord. Now get ready for the Supernatural Empowerment Summit 2023. Come meet the revivalists, the head of global denominations, and the kingmakers. This year in Archbishop Ajinasari's 40th year in the Miracle Ministry, and the third Supernatural Empowerment Summit, expect life-changing insights for ministry and impartation for the next level. The host speaker is Archbishop Ajinasari, and other speakers we have Dr. Robert Ampia Kofi from Ghana. We have Apostle Dr. Eric Nyameche from Ghana. We have Reverend Dr. Stephen Wengam from Ghana, Bishop Joseph Imakando from Zambia, Bishop Joseph Matera from USA. We have Apostle Yves Castano from Congo, and then Apostle Abraham Gaji from Cote d'Ivoire. Now the date is Monday 22nd May to Friday 26th May 2023. The time, evening sessions start from Mondays at 5:30 p.m. daily, and then the morning session starting Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. daily. The venue is the Perez Chapel International, Jowolu Junction, Accra, Ghana. For For any information, contact 0548 633 650, 0548 633 650, or go to www.sesummit.org. sesummit.org. Yeah. Ayiko to all mothers out there. Now, your role can never be overemphasized. Mothers are God's most special gift to mankind. And even more special are the moms who are raising children with special needs. This year, your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, is celebrating mothers raising children with special needs in our promotion dubbed Super Mom. Do you know any such super mom? If you do, please share their story with us. That very daunting task of raising a child with a special need. In fact, the mother can personally share their stories with us as well. All entries must be sent to 055 11 997. With the support of our sponsors, we will celebrate 10 of these super moms this Mother's Day. Our Superman promotion is brought to you by Fortune Rise, always on point, just like mom. Frital Sunflower, you deserve a life of goodness. Zigzag Fashion Accessories at the Accra Mall, your best choice for elegance and style. Woodin Le Creteur, Lesh Fortune Limited, luxuriously perfect. Sonatec Ghana, your total health partner for life. Caveman Watches, be remembered. Super Mom, Ayiko.
Much more than what they expect of me.
Now, carrying multiple phones around can be such a chore. The unsightly bulge in your pocket, the extra weight in your purse, the stress of switching from one phone to the other to pick calls. Now, imagine being able to switch between different numbers on the same phone easily and seamlessly. Guess what? You can go seamless with MTN eSIM and enjoy the convenience of connecting multiple phone numbers to one single phone or device. To check if your device is compatible, simply dial *#06#, and once you receive an EID number, it means your phone or device is compatible. Simply download my MTN app today to request your MTN eSIM and enjoy the sweet, seamless life everywhere you go. Still here, Joy 99.7 FM, and this evening we are going to the VGMAs. It's the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards at the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center. And I want to know from you, Uncle Ken, Baba Sadiq, and okay, Chief Moment says that he is not going. I don't know if Uncle Ken is. You don't have invitation, but they are selling tickets. Tickets are selling.
Oh, they are selling.
Oh yes. You don't want to buy.
But are you buying a ticket? I mean, as a reputable member of Showbiz 360, right?
A to Z. Hey, please, Chief Moment, please. You've been on this show for how many years?
I know, sorry. I mean, this is confusing. You know,
Showbiz A to Z.
I was used to read them so much.
No, Showbiz A to Z.
You guys changed it, yeah.
Showbiz A to Z.
Okay.
Showbiz
A to Z.
But Kwame is going because he's a member of the.
No, but I mean,
please. At a time when people are attacking board members, please don't mention.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
What's the word?
Uncle Ken, are you going? Uncle Ken, are you going this evening to the awards? You're not going.
What's the strategy behind not?
Baba Sadiq, are you going?
Out the names of board members.
Baba Sadiq, what are your expectations for tonight at the VGMAs?
I didn't land on me. I going and not going.
You are not going.
But on a more serious note, usually I watch it on television. I haven't made any efforts to go, actually. So.
Sometimes it's fun to watch on television.
Yes. But maybe I've never been one to, other than what I performed. But one of these days I will attend.
Okay, so Chief, what are your expectations in terms of performances, to MCing, the red carpet? Who are you wearing, movements, and all that? What are you expecting?
The MC, I'm veterans in the game, Nashoko, Bella Mundi, who has.
Oh, Nashoko is hosting.
Cool. Yeah, Nashoko is hosting.
Oh, nice.
So the main stage, hosting. Yeah, Bella, Nashoko, and then James Gardner. The three of them are for the main stage.
I mean, respect to these two phenomenal ladies. I mean, Bella, Nashoko, they've grown into their own. I mean, watch them from the very beginning, confident, articulate, phenomenal styling, and so I'm very, very proud of these two young Ghanaian divas. Is divas the right description? I mean, they are phenomenal. They hold their own, and I'm totally in awe.
Who you determine as
yes,
a diva.
I hold them in awe, for what they do in their various spaces. So in terms of the hosting MC, I'm sure it will be flawless. To go very well with these guys, these ladies in charge. For performances, I'm curious. I mean, last year you realized that VGMA upped its game when it came to performances. There was a bit more, intentionality to the theatrics, behind the performance. Okay. So I would only hope they would take it even a notch higher, and that we'll see even more well curated.
By some people due to the exceptional performance of Black O on 3 Music.
So the 3 Music competition.
It's good. It's good for the space.
Baba is smiling.
You may agree or disagree, but when there's even though they work, closely, it's in the same space. It's important.
I need to be honest, right?
Yes.
And I'll say that, the VGMA is, I've always said, is the biggest awards event in the country.
Okay.
The biggest entertainment property. One of the biggest entertainment property. And they've been at it. But I'll say in the last 3 to 4 years, I know and I've watched and seen, whenever there's always been 3 music awards, I see the approach. This year, and I think I told some of the guys that I think they've been a bit relaxed.
VGMA?
Yeah, a bit relaxed.
Because there is no competition.
I was saying that, yes, either that or maybe because this year there isn't a lot of money. But I know VGMA in the last years. Well, it's a market.
So the competition was good for them.
I think it was good for us. Kwame, it was good for us.
It was good for the space.
I know how every time when we're also thinking or when we're putting together things,
you also want to distinguish yourself. Yeah.
They've always made an intentional attempt to distinguish and elevate it. Yeah. And I know definitely. These are the big guys. They will also not sit for you
at all,
crawling to come in,
especially when you get a lot of attention.
Come and show them what to do. They will show you power.
Okay. Now let's do our predictions. Artist of the year. Now let me read the category definition. It says, the artist of the year is the artist.
Isn't Black Hole the category definition enough?
Please wait. The artist of the year is the artists are judged by the Academy, board, and the general public as the artists with the highest audience appeal and popularity in the year under review. The artist must have released a hit single, EP, or album, and must be one of the artists with the highest nominations in the year under review. Now, let me give you the nominees. So the nominees are Black Sherif.
How many nominations does he have?
He has about 9.
He has 9 nominations. In various categories.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
So Black Sherif, Stonebwoy.
How many?
Stonebwoy, I need to count. He has a lot. He has a number of them. He has a number of them. Stonebwoy, Sarkodie, King Promise, Camido, Kiddy, PC Esther, and then Joe Metal. These are the nominees for the Artist of the Year category. Uncle Ken, who is winning?
If you ask me, I would go for Black O.
Yeah, Black O.
Yes, I am saying I would. There's been a lot of
controversy.
Not controversy per se. Different opinions.
Okay.
As to who merits the Artist of the Year award.
Yes.
In actual fact, I nearly got swayed when I heard the
PC Esther.
No.
Okay.
Oh, don't mention names. When I heard the argument about that somebody made, Kwame, very interesting argument that somebody made about an Artist of the Year being somebody who hasn't had too many years in the profession, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody that just came out this year.
And shattered it.
Shattered all records, shattered everybody's expectations and that, and you give him Artist of the Year. Some people think that's too early to give Artist of the Year to that sort of person.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a certain perspective.
Interesting thing.
It's a very interesting thing. I listened to it and I said, in some ways it makes sense, because if you want to give an Artist of the Year to somebody, it must be somebody who was impressed over a period.
Yeah.
Okay, who was impressed over a period. So it got me confused. But then I said to myself, no, look at this young man. He came out of the blue, hit the ground running, sustained it, and it's been going outside our borders to even give the country, so much mileage. That's why, if you ask me, I say to you, I'd go for Blacko.
Okay.
Because of what he's been able to do right here in Ghana and outside our shores. There's also been the argument that a lot of these people have not even shown any interest.
They've not posted the artworks and campaign for votes.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that. But that is a matter for another day. So I need to ask you whether we're going to do a review of what happens tonight next week.
Oh, yes.
Because if we
producer is here.
That is where I want to bring in my perspective of that issue.
Next week. So it's Blacko for you.
Blacko for me, yes.
Okay.
For me, I mean, of course, okay.
The church people are campaigning. They are throwing their weight solidly behind.
I'm a church person.
So this is the thing,
right?
You cannot. I mean, of course, PCS stars had
table of men.
But I think what happened with the year the Hamilton won over Kiddy, for instance, I do not think even the VGM organization would want such a thing to happen again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do not think.
You think it wasn't
Hamilton?
Yeah,
Dana winning the artist?
It was a deserved win
2 years ago.
Obviously, within that particular year, and the major expectation, and even from industry, I do not think that thing where, for instance, somebody comes up and there's a whole church movement that no, I do not think that even the academy and everything. That's why I'm sure from what we heard, some of the members were trying to lobby the academy people. I do not think they would want for it to happen
but
again.
Obviously, if it's a voting game, if
it happens again, you see, if you realize sometimes there's a certain level of apathy that has come out of plenty back and forth. And that particular year contributed to the apathy the VGM organization experienced. And if you look at it this year, for instance, the last year, and take it away or give it to him, he doesn't think about it in this particular light. And last year when we were talking about, I remember early last year around January or February, when we were speaking about this performance on 3 Music and what we were envisioning for him. For us, it was, we wanted to prove a certain point. There was a certain narrative we are put into industry that we can be partners for growth. It's not always because there isn't too much resources for us to share. So that period where everybody would throw this, that, we thought that no, let's not do doing this to ourselves where you want so much money, we also want so much money. No, we all can come together and create and build. And we all are envisaged like today, for instance. And I know typical Blacko, sometimes very quiet, some very reflective. He's not interested. He just wants to do his thing, make the mark, and move. So I can understand him. But for a lot of people and what he's done last year, I think, Kwame, for what Blacko has done, he's actually he's actually the definition of who an artist of the year is in the last 1 year. Charlie Kwame. All the evidence and everything shows.
Streams.
Look, from not even streams. He shattered it. His breakthrough was such phenomenal. The attention. Look, a whole Empire. Empire is one of the major distributors, music distributors. Empire had to attempt to set up shop here. Do you know what it meant? On the back of Blacko's success. Do you know how difficult it is to get some of these major global distributors to having to actually look into market to set up? Empire had to come. Do you know the amount of time Empire had to come in and go do a lot of? There's a number of events, but I understand. Usually, you know the thing I tell you, there are 3 parts of industry.
Yes.
There's the first part that's always sitting in radio, and it would have your typical table of men and all of those, and they will not see these things, you know. And then there's a second level and the third level. If you see what Empire and all these organizations, all these brands, international and everything we're looking to do in the market, on the back of the impact Blacko had and was so phenomenal, it's crazy. The chart he entered into and everything, he's just simply that definition. That's why I say to you that I have a very, very strong feeling that even if the church succeed in getting, because, and what we've come to know in the last few years is that there's, again, apathy with public voting.
Yes, yeah.
The usual music fans will not budge, even people from within the church. It definitely would have to be a conscious attempt of all of us come together. So if you speak to the managers of VGMA or even us, public votes have always been very minimal. The votes that come in, even though it still holds the percentage.
Would you
regardless.
suggest it is scrapped totally? As in, we're not adding public voting to the blocks. We have academy, we have board, we have.
No, I think the
should we
public
take
element,
the public
I think
element
the public
out?
element should always be there, because today, music appreciation or determining what is best cannot be looked at without the public audience appreciation part of it. So it should be there, you know. And obviously, once it's there, you know, everybody would want to machinate and do it. But I understand that today, now, the VGMA, the voter quota is what, 70-30, right?
Yeah,
I think the 70, again, did you hear that? Is it 70-30 now?
The board is 40
board is
now.
40.
Now the board is 40, academy 30, public
Academy
30.
is 30.
Yes.
The board is 40.
Yes.
So it means industry is 70%.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying to you that if that is the way to go and everything, I think they'll make a strong case for Blacko.
Okay.
Because then they know if they do not, they risk creating a whole new apathy. He's the face of a whole new school that is coming up. And if you want to carry them along on this, they already have this lethargic approach to awards. Courtesy a number of the advocacy or campaigns people like Shatawale have been waging against awards and everything. So the 6 mindset they have to carry them on and to be able to sustain these things going forward, they wouldn't have any option whatsoever, regardless of the church and everything coming in and giving, even if they give 1 million votes, I think that they will make that 70% count. You know, but that's not to say that she's not, you know, she's fantastic. I've met her, and her song is one of the favorite songs of John Mama, for instance.
Okay.
So we know, and I know a lot of the people that are affiliated to him, what it will mean to them if she wins, because it's a song that will be used to do a lot of things, right? But last year, Kwame, Blacko, is that kind of year where he's actually the definition of your artist of the year. You can't say anything less, you know. And I know they this year they wouldn't want that to happen. They would want to give it to him just to underscore and be able to carry along the whole new generation, and then try to let them understand what it means to.
Blacko has 2 votes here. Let me see if Chief Mumi will depart from this choice.
I mean, you should know. I would say that in every industry, in every field of life, there are outliers, right? There are unicorns who would appear. So when you take an award that has been running for 20 years, it's bound to happen that there will be a year where someone just comes out of nowhere and is just deserving of the record. So when it comes to the the point of whether he's new or not, I think that it's just part of life that you see these unicorns and these outliers. So for me, it's not a problem. And for someone like me who is not as, let's say, whose knowledge, I would like to say knowledge. I wouldn't consider myself a very music person in terms of, I mean, I love music, but in terms of my awareness of happenings in the industry. So I am your average music
consumer.
Right?
Okay.
From that average point of view, without even having to go into the statistics and all of that, just from a cursory, look at the industry, it's, for me, Blacko stands out tremendously.
Okay.
I mean, when you listen to his single, the first single that came out.
The Traveler?
No, not Kuku the Traveler. Auntie the first one that shot it.
Seven.
First sermon.
Second sermon. You know, sometimes there's a temptation when a musician has a big hit to think, oh, man, this is just a fluke. You know, it's just a 9-day wonder. He's gonna, move into oblivion. And then he followed it up with, KTT, Kwekude Traveler. Phenomenal. You know, for the first time we had a Ghanaian song that was topping Nigerian charts, which was really unprecedented. And then he topped it up with a phenomenal album. You know, I mean, you listen to the album, he proved his worth, as a musician. You could hear the style, the ring. It's an album that is going to even
and he says that is one category he's looking for to winning. If he doesn't win, the matter come.
What about countryside?
I see. His role on countryside, other musicians.
Yes, and
I see George's argument. I think for George's argument is that thing where even the guy, sometimes where you are, of course, but very well that even the guy, possibly trying to organize, probably maybe votes, or the people organizing votes within their heart and their mind and their conscience, they themselves will tell us, Charlie, of course, it's the process, but we know this is that is. But it's the process.
I mean, all
that's
respect
George's.
to George, right?
I think George wants.
Yeah, I understand.
George wants to call everybody and say, Charlie. Sometimes.
George Quay.
Battle with
the gospel, the table of men people.
But the point is that George's, and I see the argument as well. It's like, Charlie guy, the awards are nothing without the mechanics. The mechanics are the mechanics, regardless of whatever we think. Even if he is the one, even if we've agreed that he's the guy.
And
once
for
the mechanics are
the fact that even all of these people are nominated, the likes of PSC or Stonebwoy, in itself is a nod to the relevance that they were able to cultivate for themselves. It means that they put in the work to be noticed, and that they are deserving of the laurels. That's why when you're even nominated for any of these big international acts, even when you don't win, you are still introduced as a Grammy nominated, Academy nominated. So that is not to say that all of these people are not deserving, but to be frank, when we look at the statistics, we look at the impact, the popularity.
Very quickly.
I think
we need to.
I know very quickly. In saying all this, Stonebwoy has been phenomenal in the year.
Absolutely, yes.
Stonebwoy too has been very, very hardworking.
Absolutely phenomenal.
In fact, and that's why all of them got the nominations.
Yeah.
They're all very good.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
But Chief, before we go, what's new with the Manson world?
No, so I mean, we have a major international breakthrough. I mean, we've been working to take our productions on tour around the world, and we're entering into. Yes. We're entering into a major partnership with UNESCO. UNESCO is endorsing the Manson World Project, which is a big deal for us.
Yeah.
So we are set to launch the project on the 25th of May at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, and we are working to take a casting crew of 60 to go and stage a phenomenal, production there. I mean, we are going to be engaging a lot of international partners. So I tell people that our road to Broadway begins. With this particular performance, and so
wonderful. There's this joy when you see people that have worked hard at something.
This is the point I've been making.
Progress. There's this joy.
You guys, you are doers.
There's this joy because this vision.
You guys,
we'll talk about it proper. So what we need now, I mean, I've been knocking on doors. I've been knocking on Ghana Tourism Authority, Ghana Investment Promotion, Ghana Investment. Money? No, we need money to take our custom crew. In fact, we don't even need that. We need to buy tickets for 60 people and pay for their accommodation. So
UNESCO is not paying for that?
No, so UNESCO is paying for the cost of hosting. But because this is a partnership, we also have to show some seriousness.
All right.
So we are hoping that we'll get some support internally to be able to take this custom crew. This is also a win for the culture industry.
Exactly. A big win.
Private, public funds. I mean, we need to fly
they
60
need
people,
funds.
right? So we are calling for support. Anyone who is inspired by the work that we're doing. What we're actually going to do is a pitch. We are planning to raise about $3 to $5 million to invest back in our local industry. So we are hoping that the powers that be would give us the support. This is an important moment. That will have a lot of
fantastic.
But we'll talk more about it next.
Oh, of course.
All right. Showbiz A to Z. Thank you, Chief Mumin, poet and playwright Baba Sadiq Abu. The name Baba Sadiq Abdullahi Abu. Thank you so much for coming. And then Uncle Ken, our very own Uncle Ken. Thanks for coming. Yes, so
aka DJ Ken.
VGMS is on tonight, and please make sure that you follow our pages. Make sure you follow our pages, Joy 99.7 FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime, Joy News, and then follow all the updates on the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. But earlier on, we played to you songs from some of the Artist of the Year winners over the years. Yes, and we got to 2014. Now, let's move to 2015 when Stonebwoy won the Artist of the Year with this song, Bafira.
Yes, Big Nation, yes. Up in the bomb ready, Stonebwoy, and Kasa. Let's talk do more. Me a roll up me thing in a me corner. Them they spread rumor. Rasta Beji Magana. Pick up the ghetto you them from Honolulu to Ghana. Yeah. See we they born two more. I get in we know it on ya. Any man try kill me vibes, we no work with them. I know them where we a work with. Any man try stop me smile, we no work with them. I know them where we a work with. Bafira, la la li li la lo, la 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 li li la lo le. Bafira, I just come out my eye 'cause I see many past this one. Bafira, la la li li la lo, la 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 li li la lo le. Bafira, I just come out my eye 'cause I see many past this one. Many rise, many fall, many price, many dull, many sacrifice, but some get all. Some they wrap it up to go PayPal. Anyway, so long as we live and pray, Jana lead we astray. Don't look back, don't take chat, just kill them in a million ways. Bafira, la la li la lo, la 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 li la lo le. Bafira, I just come out my eye 'cause I see many past this one. Bafira, la la li la lo, la 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 li la lo le. Bafira, I just come out my eye 'cause I see many past this one. Yeah. The shots in Twitter, Nivea say ya perform one man for years when you Bafira. And then a free show book was a shabaggy jeans and the twat. Parkers of Bantama, you to me from to my Washington Yankama, boys are bread. Yabisa Montana, I was Shangama, Abeku Santana Munya Botre, and then Wunia, Yana Hobato, Utia the Pando and Katiam Bogabo, Yabe Yadia the penny vessel, will be fine when the Sanka said the wall. Bafira, to me to cover media Mampopo, that's a would be like a Wodia now for. Yes. What time for the bow? Mankoto, and then I would the above, so me the number. La la li la lo. Miss Sweetie Jolly, my one and only my shorty. Make you no worry. Tomorrow I go there for your body. When I see my baby, I go give you all my love and I'm never gonna let you go. Go tell your mommy. Say me I get plenty money, so make she no complain. Come on like a bochi min jolly. You be my baby, and they never go to bab the reason why I love you so. If I had me Maya, moko bet to my bo. Mina boko, mina boko, inke. If I had me Maya, moko bet to my bo. Mina boko, mina boko, abode. Ahani sumo loife ababode. Enyele walk FM was sumo dole. Into the air, I'm on the mic, Charlie Body. Peche Madina to Wale, got to Sala, got to Panama, Jamaica, and America to Bombay. See, I've been all around the world on my journey, and I know they see nobody costing me, you know this. Everywhere I go, people wanna know if I am alone when they see me on the low. So I tell them no, I get somebody alone. Then I pick up the phone and I tell her I'm coming home to see my baby, oh. Hey.
Joy 99.7 FM.
It's Showbiz A to Z.
Sunyamia oyo waweni Bibi aransu no Onuno kasa atingina yeti Bibi aransu no Sunyamia oyo waweni
how would they be around that? Lift your voice with me.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Oh, you are me. Be around soon, yeah. Sing on no casa. I didn't know from any baby around soon, yeah. Oti chance ni fasu. Say redeemer, and unti Jesus. Yes, come on, somebody, lift your voice. What's your chance?
It's Showbiz A to Z.
Danny beat, the 90s bad girl trend. See, I heard them say, boy, you a player. You the score like Messi, play like Kaka, dribble like Picasso. You the like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea. I go give you my heart, give you body, do anything for you. Sacrifice my life to be your wife, I'm gonna be there for you. But if you break my heart, I go date your father. You gonna be my son, you go call me your mother.
It's Showbiz A to Z.
Say if you break my heart, I go date your father. You gonna be my son, you go call me your mother. I'll go fear, I could tell my go fear. I'll go fear, say me casa tie me, me love you, me dance me love you. See the love I have for you, the love I have for you. See the love I have for you. It's for nobody else but you. I see you, no say I get a more. Bobby stand you, no say I hold a more. And oh yeah, yeah. Rockstar. And they call me Eugene. Africa #1.
Jason's on it.
Today where I day, you know be by my top by power. So I do wish you well. Me I don't pray, make jealousy die. If you say Eugene, I said no, I do not cheer okay. I feel you try, I dream no son, no the man I'm fair. Me I do my, me to be more beato, me to be more beato, me to be more beato. Me I do my, me to be more beato, me to be more beato, me to be more beato.
Joy 99.7 FM.
But if you find I go give you kerosene. If you can't forget, forgive. So I want to see your money. Who send me here? It's me who trim me.
It's Showbiz A to Z.
I don't look like what I have been through. You turned my pit into a well. So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adum, Watum. I've been through a lot, but grace sustained me. My test is now a testimony. So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adum, Watum. It was you, my lawyer in that courtroom. It was you, my soldier on that battlefield. So the essence of my
Showbiz A to Z.
praise is centered on your grace. Adum, Watum. Hey, Adumo, Yami. Adumo, Adum. Adum entina metiasi. Eya wadum tina me wo. No, the essence
Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z, and we've been playing to you songs from Artists of the Year winners in the VGMAs since its inception. And yes, this is Touch It by Kitty, who is the reigning Artist of the Year 2022. Earlier on, you heard Stoneboy, who won the award in 2015 with Bafira, and then EL came through with Mina Bupo, 2016 winner. Then in 2017, we had Joe Metal with Onwanweni. Ebony came through in 2018 with Sponsor. In 2019, there was no winner because of the incident, the gun pulling incident, the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. 2020, we had Kwame Eugene with Obiato, and then 2021 was Dana Hamilton. Adum. Yes, Showbiz A to Z. We're going to the Conference Center Grand Arena to bring you all the updates on Joy Entertainment pages. So you need to keep your pages, your Facebook, your IG, your Twitter handles on Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime, Joy News, and all that. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We're back same time next week. Bye bye.
Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, pass me the touch it. Pretty girl, come wind up your body. 10 toes, gun girl, make it touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Puff, puff, pass, my Mary Jane.
Hello and welcome to the news at 6 p.m. coming to you live here on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, also in Accra on Joy 99.7 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, also live on the myjoyonline.com streaming app. Coming up, Minerals Commission boss demands stiff punishment for culprits of illegal mining, including 3 Yemenis and a chief arrested at Oda last week, caught red-handed in Galamsey activities.
So, for instance, this chief, if he's convicted by